Glyn, Sunday morning, your phone is going flat out, a bit of a logistical puzzle.
We've had a few challenges, Colin, over the last few days. None more than the Saudi borders closing. So ASO, in their incredible operation, arranged charter flights to enable various people from around the world to get in. But our charter link was from Dubai, and we were flying via Addis Ababa. And any connections we did were going to be a bit late. So that presented more than a small challenge.
But apparently it's all resolved. You've got about 2 hours before you jet off onto your journey, and very sneakily you arranged for your race cars to be in quarantine with the team.
Well, yes. Let's just go back to that charter because, South African, a really famous guy and a great guy who I was cycling with down in Cape Town 4 days ago, just after we got the news, Greg Mills, and he said, no, well, I know the ex-Prime Minister. We've just done a deal, helping Ethiopia out as he does with the Brenthurst Foundation. And Greg's a very clever guy, and that was 7 o'clock. By 9:30 that night, we were connected with the CEO of Ethiopian Airways, and by 8 o'clock the next morning, we had a charter 737. And I must say, then somebody's got to pay for it. So we did a little bit of negotiating, but Toyota were great. I explained to them that evening what had happened, said we might need some extra budget. And they said, well, you got to get there. So between us all, we've made it happen, and we've got our own 737. But we've got organised the Century team, another 12 people from Brazil, so 56 people to amortise the costs. So there's challenges everywhere.
It's amazing how in racing the ability to think and organise and bring results very, very quickly it's a huge skill.
It is. I was trying to relax to try and get some holiday in, but and as you say, we've got all the cars, all the spares are there. There's 4 cars there, 5 pallets of spares because the sea freight container couldn't leave. The ship got stuck in somewhere in Africa on the way. So we had to fly everything. So the cars are being delivered to the hotel in the morning so we can build them under the 48-hour isolation period. So that sort of buys us a day. So you're on the feet all the time thinking what to do.
Motor racing is about available time and maximising utilisation of it.
Yeah, well, we've sure used every minute this year, that's for sure. But we're going on a high. NASA had a fantastic race in Hale with all the latest developments that we've done. So we were very keen to see how he got there. And in terms of speed, he won both races there. I didn't really want him to do the second one, but he said we can win the World Cup, which he did. So he won both and caught the Mini on one stage and overtook Carlos. So that was a little bit of stress I didn't need in my life. But then we got a penalty protest. They had one speed trigger pulse, that's called, coming into a speed zone, which is normally ignored by the clerk of the course. But the Mini team found out about it somehow, we don't know, and put in a protest. So he lost the World Cup by a few seconds.
A blip.
Yeah, a blip.
So that has kind of set up a lovely, that rivalry, Mini, Toyota, that rivalry that competition is set up. And then Pro Driver coming in with their car, and you're only going to discover how quick it is on day 2 or 3.
Yeah, exactly. So Pro Drive were going to do the race, and then they withdrew at the last minute. Otherwise, we would have had a better feeling. They went testing in Dubai or something, but of course, we just don't know how they're going to be. And I said to the whole team just before we left, ignore everybody else. Let's do our job the best that we possibly can. Focus on what we're doing. Give the drivers the best possible equipment we can do, and as a team, it's over to the drivers and you guys to keep the nuts and bolts in, and we'll see, as you say, day 3, 4. The biggest challenge is still the race. You've got to finish every day,
And you've taken probably the strongest team that Toyota's ever taken to Dakar.
Well, we're certainly taking the fastest Hilux we've ever had, and I thought that last year. But this is a faster car for the conditions. The lads, we've got a great team ethos. We've had everybody at the factory this last 3 weeks, barring 1 or 2 people who couldn't get there for work commitment, and we've done an enormous amount of work, because the cars were rebuilt from last year actually. So even though we'd done the testing in Namibia and everything was together, they all had to be stripped to the chassis, rebuilt, and got ready in time, which was a big job along with all the spares production. But the team, I must hand it to them, everybody was in fantastic spirits. There's always stress, you need that to keep everybody on their toes, but for sure we've got a great team and a great bunch of guys, and they're all pointing in the right direction, which is important.
There's no I in team, and it really is a team, it's a family, it's a very tight-knit group that really does add to the success.
Well, they are certainly going to be this year more than ever before, because we've got to be in the bivouac the entire 2 weeks, no leaving for hotels, shopping, on the way, everything. There's some very strict rules that are coming through from the ASO to control the possible ingress of the virus. So even if you fill up at fuel stations outside the bivouac, there's very strict rules on how we must do that. So they want to keep the bubble clean like they did in F1. They had a great experience in Tour de France. So I spoke to two of the top guys at the ASO, and they said they learned a lot from the Tour de France. So I'm sure they'll get it managed. They'll be okay.
It's a different race, different in terms of the environment, different in terms of some of the technical rules, but each year the steps and improvements, both from a logistics point of view, from a managing of the team and the vehicle, it's a bit of pressure this year as well.
Well, last year NASA finished second to Carlos. I think was it 2 minutes or 1 minute 50 in 54 hours of racing, and we had the 35 punctures in the team. So the stress of the punctures of the tyres still worry me a lot, perhaps the biggest. But we had zero mechanical problem with NASA's car, and he was the guy that was chasing flat out every day. So if we can repeat that this year, and the tyres are slightly better, we've changed a lot of things to try and address that. But it's still my biggest worry, no question at all. We're in the hands of that. 2018, we raced for the win. We had tyres coming off the wheel rims. We got them, a new tyre when we arrived in Lima, and it wasn't what we expected. So let's hope that this is all going to be okay for us. That's what really worries me. But we're going to take it one day at a time. That's
what racing's about. Not knowing, that's why you go racing. Not knowing the outcome, but having used your time and done your very best.
Yeah, it is. I have to
Glyn,
go.
Thank you very much for your time. Good luck. Be fast, be safe, and come back smiling.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.